Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. In this offline session, we're going to learn some basic things about environmental science, EVS, in the simple and best possible way. The first thing is what comes to our mind when we hear the word environment. I guess it's surrounding, a surrounding. Surrounding is the place where you are staying or standing and the things that you see around in your immediate vicinity makes your environment. For example, this time we are staying in the room. In my environment is the things which I am seeing in my immediate environment. For example, the curtains, the matting, the windows, different things. That's your surrounding. The thing we have to bear in mind is that every subject has particular terminology which have its own meaning in context in relation to that subject. Every subject, like mathematics, science, social sciences, humanities, every word in there has a particular meaning vis-a-vis to that subject. It's a known fact. There's no denying the fact, and there are no two opinions. Same is the case with the word environment. Every term in every subject is always having two meanings. The first is its literal meaning, which we call as logvi mana, a dictionary meaning or etymological meaning. The second is definition. In definition, we discuss broad connotations, in broader aspect, we can try to understand what it exactly means, what's nature, and how it is functioning. First thing is literal meaning. Literal meaning is connected to its etymology. Etymology, it may be a new word to you guys. Etymology is the branch of linguistics, language, which deals with the origin of words. If we try to know the etymology of word environment, then we know that it has been derived from a French word, environ, environ, which means surrounding, encircle. Its literal meaning, literally it means surround or surrounding. And second is its real meaning, that's definition. What this term is all about. What do you mean by that term? So they are different in that very context. There are different definitions. The simplest or the best possible, I think, is environment can be defined as the sum total of land, water, air, and interrelationships among themselves and also with humans and other living things. Is a sum total. Sum total means that in totality, whatever we see in the form of in different landforms, mountains, different things we see, and water bodies, air, this all constitutes our environment. Along with the living component of this thing, of this whole earth, that includes plants, animals, and human beings as well. So, environment is sum total of land, water, air, and all the living things, and the interrelationship or the interaction between these different things is environment. To understand this concept in simple possible way, let's take an example of public park, where people are involved in different activities. The children are playing, the elder are staying, the young are running, jogging and exercising. The other birds are chirping, the insects are moving. Different when we have a look, there are different things. We see playground, bench, swing, slides, different things. So when we observe it, we see there are two categories of things. These all things we can categorize into components or two categories. Now, first is grass, plants, trees, insects, birds, people, children, human beings, we call them. They form a one category, and playground, air, water, swing, slides, bench, they form another category. So, in scientific terminology, we call them living things. The first category it comes under living things, and second category is non-living things. So, living things, why? Because they have life. Their life process are going in these things. And into abiotic things, abiotic biotic means living, and abiotic means non-living. So bench is abiotic component of public park. If we consider this as an environment, as our surrounding, as an example. So bench is a biotic component, swing is an abiotic component, slide is an abiotic component, while grass, uh, plants, trees, insects, birds, and people, they form the biotic. Because biotic, they are living. They are living. So we come to the conclusion that environment consists of two basic components. Number first is biotic components. Number second is abiotic components. One thing we should bear in mind that nothing in this universe or on this motherland, on this mother earth, uh, remains in isolation, lives in isolation. They always interact with each other. They always interact with each other. And here we turn to another term, that is environmental science. Environmental science. This field tries to understand its scope is, its main goals are to understand how nature works, what are the interactions of different components, how humans interact or affect the environment. These are the main focal goals of environmental studies, environmental science, which focuses on these things to understand how nature works, interactions of different components, how humans affect the environment. Environmental science, if we turn to its definition, environmental science. Environmental science, it's an interdisciplinary field. There are different disciplines or branches of science or branches of knowledge which are involved in understanding environmental problems and environmental science. The knowledge is generally categorized in natural sciences, number one, number two, social science and humanities. As we know it, natural sciences, different subjects comes in this category, like biology, chemistry, different subjects. But in respect to environmental science, we take the help of biology, chemistry, geology. And in social science, geography, economics, and political science are involved. In humanities, philosophy and ethics is involved. So it's an interdisciplinary field. Inter means that these are two different words. We use inter and intra. Intra comes if it is within the system, a particular system, we call it intra, like intra school tournaments, inter college tournaments within a particular college. Inter, when we say inter college, between the two different colleges, maybe more than two or minimum two. Inter. So it is interdisciplinary field. This is not a single field. It takes the help from every field to understand the different environmental problems to reach to the different conclusions. So environmental science, its focal points are the points of stress or search are it tries to understand how nature works, how the nature works, and how different components of nature interact with each other, how humans affect the environment. To understand the interaction of different natural things, uh, maybe biotic or abiotic, we can take the example of plants. So the growth of the plants are a simple process which happens in plants. We will better understand this by taking the example of photosynthesis. In plants, we know plants are autotrophic. They can make their food themselves. They are the producers of this ecosystem. They need to produce their food, they need air, water, and sunlight. We know that air, water, and sunlight they will fall in the abiotic component list. And all these components, with the help of chemical reaction, they form a food by the process of photosynthesis. The plants, and there's a large, we call it food chain in the ecosystem or biosphere, in which the plants got eaten up by the higher animals like plant animals. And there is a sort of interaction between living things and these non-living things. This particular interaction has a particular definition of the word in the environmental studies, that is ecology. When we try to study their interactional aspect. So in this session, we try to understand what's environment, what is environmental science, and what are the focal points are the areas which deals in which environment study deals. And what's the origin of environment and different things. In the next session, we will try to understand environmental science in a much deeper way, its scope and importance, and its relevance in the modern times. How can it be relevant in the modern times? And what's the importance? Why this subject is having a lot of importance in the modern times and modern era. If we try to recapitulate these things, so our topic was Introduction to Environmental Science. We try to define the environment, its definition, its literal meaning, and its definition, and the environmental science. What's its definition, and what's the literal meaning, its definition. In the next session, inshallah, we will build upon these things and try to understand this topic in a deeper and broader way. Thank you.